Northwestern's Venric Mark tweeted this out just the other day. Change is inevitable. Growth is a choice. Think and believe you're the best. That's what superior athletes do. Then work like it. #confidence. Well, change is exactly what's on the horizon for the Wildcats running back, as it was announced that he will transfer and will not play for the Cats this season. Hello and welcome inside our Campus Insider studios. I'm Shay Pepler, and joining me for the latest, let's welcome in our Northwestern insider, the voice of the Cats, Dave Eanet. And Dave, Venric Mark was already suspended for a violation of team policy and was going to sit out the first 2 games of the season. That was prior to the news that he would transfer. So you're around this team all the time, Dave. What is really going on?
Well, it happened very quickly, Shay. As of Tuesday, Venric was talking about coming back, and by Wednesday night, the announcement had been made that he would not return. The only thing that you can figure is that whatever led to his 2-game suspension either recurred or there was some disagreement over where to go next. And, as far as he goes, what he has said is he wanted to play closer to his family. He's from Texas. On the other hand, Pat Fitzgerald, the coach, said that they love Venric and they wish him well. So apparently no hard feelings, but obviously not the way he expected to end his career at Northwestern.
Well, Dave, Mark only played in 3 games last season, but was the leading rusher for Northwestern in 2012, as well as an All-American return man. How do the Cats replace his production?
Well, I think you just hit on it. He only played in 3 games last year, so they kind of got used to playing without him, and they were preparing to play the first 2 games this year without him. They have some depth at running back, which they really had not necessarily had even going back to 2012. Their leading rusher from last year among the running backs, Trayvon Green, is back. He got to play a lot last year because of the injuries to Venric. So Trayvon, you would think, is going to get more opportunities now. They also had a very promising redshirt freshman last year, Stephen Buckley, who was having his best game against Nebraska when he injured his knee and was lost for the remainder of the year. But he's come back now, although it's not quite clear how ready he's going to be for the start of the season. And they've got some promising freshmen as well as a true sophomore, Warren Long, who played a little bit last year. So they've got some depth there. It's just kind of a question of who's going to step up and take the starting job.
Well, Dave, speaking of replacing production, the Wildcats also lost their leading receiver from last season in Christian Jones, who suffered a season-ending knee injury during practice. Another blow to this Cats offense, Dave. Do they have the depth to replace Jones as well?
Well, Shay, if there's a position in which they might be able to afford losing a key player, it might very well be wide receiver. They have a number of guys at that position. Tony Jones, who was their leading receiver last year, is a big play threat, a guy who can get up the field and get open. So that's one guy. Cameron Dickerson. There's a bunch of them. Miles Schuler, a transfer from Rutgers. And the guy who everybody's kind of been waiting for is Kyle Prater, former heavily recruited guy out of the Chicago area, went to USC, transferred back to his hometown to play at Northwestern. This is his 3rd year in the program as a player, and he hasn't really contributed a whole lot yet, but he had a great spring, and the coaches are hoping that he's going to be a guy to help pick up the slack with the absence of Christian Jones.
No doubt this puts more pressure on Prater. I couldn't agree more. 2 major blows, though, in 24 hours for Coach Fitzgerald's squad. What is the mindset and outlook in Evanston, as we're only 2 weeks away now from the start of the season?
Well, the timing could be better. Let's face it. You don't like to see it happen this close to the season. But there's so many guys returning on this team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They have a senior quarterback with a lot of experience under his belt in Trevor Siemian. I mentioned the depth at running back, the depth at wide receiver. They need the offensive line to be a little more cohesive and play better than they did a year ago. There's a lot of talent there. So I don't think they're looking at this as something that's going to knock them off the rails. Clearly, it's something that they're going to have to overcome, and it's going to be even that much more important for them to start quickly against Cal and Northern Illinois, because then they get a bye week before facing an FCS opponent in Western Illinois. So a chance to kind of get their bearings before they get into the Big Ten season.
Added advantage. Cal, they open at home on August 30th. Dave Eanet, thanks so much for the insight.
Thank you, Shay.
Well, what if we could change the rules of college football? Hear what our analysts would change if they were the commissioner. That's on CampusInsiders.com right now.